Hey. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you all so much for being here this evening. Hi. While we wait for folks to come into the Zoom room, if everyone wants to introduce themselves in the chat, maybe put in where you're zooming in from tonight, that would be amazing. We'll give it another minute or so. From the Bronx, awesome. New York City, Brooklyn, Chapel Hill. Love to see it. Caroline, Ari, and Catherine, I think you're all in the city, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Boston, Virginia, Jersey, Florida. Oh my goodness. This is awesome. Great. Well, again, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. We really, really appreciate it. I think we can go ahead and get started. But hi, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Viome. I'm one of the assistant directors of admission here at Skidmore, and I'm so excited to welcome you to our Creative Thought Works series. This series aims to amplify Skidmore outcomes through monthly themed panels that reach a large audience of prospective students across the country and around the world. So, our session today is titled Creative Thought Works, Business and Entrepreneurship. I'll ask our wonderful panelists to introduce themselves before we begin our moderated discussion, which will be recorded and available on the admissions website. Afterwards, we'll move to a Q&A session where panelists will be available for questions submitted through the chat feature. So, with that, panelists, if you wouldn't mind sharing your name, your class year, and your professional title or what you've been up to recently, we can go alphabetically, starting with Ari.
Sure, sounds great. Well, welcome everyone. Excited to be here. Yeah, my name is Ari. I am a class of 2019. I was a double major in economics and management and business. Since I graduated, I've lived a little bit all over the country. I was initially in Salt Lake City working for an investment bank there. Then I moved to Chicago with my current firm, where I'm currently a systematic trader at Citadel Securities. And then about a year ago, I moved back to New York City, where I am still a systematic trader in the same role at Citadel Securities. And it's great to be back in the Northeast.
Fabulous. We're happy that you are back in the Northeast. Caroline, do you want to go next?
Hey guys, my name's Caroline. I graduated Skidmore in 2020. I was a business major and a music minor. I live in New York City. I'm currently an account executive at Range, which is a wealth management startup. Um, and then I also have a platform on the side called CR in the City, where I host community classes in New York and review just New York City fitness scene as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. And finally, Catherine.
Hello, I'm Catherine. I'm class of 2022. I'm also based in New York City, specifically Brooklyn, and I'm a senior analyst at Kepler, where I do digital marketing for American Express. Before that, I was also in digital marketing in a different firm, but yeah, I've been loving my role at Kepler and in the small digital media space, especially in the small agency space. But outside of that, I also write music and produce songs, so it's a fun mix of business and my personal hobbies.
That's so awesome. Well, again, thank you all so much for being here this evening. And thank you all for those introductions as well. But I think we can go ahead and just start our moderated session, starting with my first question. But, at Skidmore, we believe that creative thought matters. It informs everything we do here and is a huge distinction of Skidmore. And we created this series to help prospective students and their families understand this difference. So, my question for you, how did Creative Thought Matters influence your experience at Skidmore, and how did it influence and prepare you for what you're currently doing? Does anyone want to start?
I'm happy to start on this one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Creative Thought Matters, honestly, was a saying that me and my friends loved throughout our time at Skidmore. it really has influenced, I think, the way I live my life today, truly, because if I think about the progression of my career, I initially started working at a very traditional firm and I was working at JP Morgan Chase. I was a private client banker for them. And I realized, like, through working at that firm, how the strictness of it really didn't align with myself. And so when I started working in like the startup world and having that like creative freedom to make an impact on the business, I feel like that creative thought matters, that saying, that feeling has led me to where I am now. Also with CR in the city, like having the ability to share my reviews on the internet, or having the confidence to do that, I think stems from things like creative thought matters.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's so cool that you're still able to like pursue your personal interests as well. And I think
Yeah.
having that creativity that you learned from your time at Skidmore, I feel like can definitely have an influence on those personal hobbies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also with the business major at Skidmore is so focused, especially with like MB 107. I don't know if the individuals on this call are familiar with that, but that's a class where you're taught to really kind of nail down business ideas for a company that they propose to the class. And I worked on Etsy when I was a freshman and then Walmart when I was a senior. And I always think about that class when I am thinking about new ideas for Range, my current company, and my company before this was Masterworks, which is an art investment platform. And so that sentiment of creative thought matters, I think, has helped me a lot in my career as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also took MB 107 and I was not a business major or minor. Super popular intro class, and we can definitely talk about that a bit later too if anyone has questions. But Ari or Catherine, do you guys want to talk about what creative thought matters kind of meant to you?
Yeah, I can speak
Sure.
to it a little.
Sure.
I think for me, like a lot of students at Skidmore, I wasn't a business major or minor at all. I was a political science major and a theater minor. Um, and now I'm in kind of the business social media sphere world. And I think Skidmore had a lot to do with that because they really encourage kind of branching out and trying new things. Like even at Skidmore, I was doing some freelance social media work for some nonprofits. I did some for some clubs on campus. So I kind of had exposure through a lot of different avenues and ways at Skidmore, even though I wasn't in the business sphere at all. And my major and minor are not really related to what I do now, but they definitely align with a lot of my hobbies and passions. And even like my best friend at Skidmore, she's a theater major. She was a theater major and she took the MB 107 class. So you really kind of see that with a lot of students that, and kind of what Skidmore encourages is even if you're not kind of aligned with, maybe that's not what you want to do necessarily, you'll see people from all over, all different majors and minors kind of trying these classes out just because it's encouraged, it's fun, and it really kind of embodies what Skidmore means and what it means to be creative and think and be at a liberal arts institution.
Yeah, totally. And I think, it's super encouraged at Skidmore too to, branch out, explore all your hobbies. I know both you and Caroline, you both did the arts as well at Skidmore. So I think that's super, super cool and insightful. And finally, Ari, do you want to talk a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I totally echo both those points. Like even though I was a pure business and econ focused, I didn't have any like an English minor or an arts minor or anything like that. I still had the opportunity to take a sculpture class. I was still taking English classes. Took a first semester freshman year. I took an American colonial history class, even though I knew I wanted to be a business major already. So it's just kind of the creative that matters is really just infused throughout everything we do. Even, yeah, similar to Caroline, my friends, we love saying the CTM, creative thought matters, all the time. That was always a phrase we were using. And it
Always.
was really just the flexibility and the kind of the experience of being able to move between different disciplines and explore different areas that might not be your core area of competency is super helpful and something that I've continued to use throughout my entire career, which has been great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so awesome. Thank you all. My next question, um, the admissions team gets a lot of questions about how Skidmore prepares students for strong outcomes in life after Skidmore. So I'm kind of curious, what kind of tools did Skidmore equip you with that have allowed you to be successful in your life after college? What kind of resources did you use?
One thing I like to highlight about Skidmore is its network. Like, although the school is small, I think the connections are so strong. And I found that when I was sourcing for my job, when I was leaving Masterworks, connecting on someone on LinkedIn and telling them that you went to Skidmore, it would always just get like the most positive response. And I would be on a call with someone that I'd never met before within a day or two to have just a 15-minute coffee chat or whatever. So I think that is a huge way that Skidmore prepared me. I also think just the like I played lacrosse at Skidmore as well, so that network I think has also been super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Catherine or Ari? Yeah, Ari.
Yeah, so for me, going back to kind of MB 107 as well was a big thing. Both, freshman year taking MB 107, where you come in, you meet a lot of new people, you have to quickly build a team, learn to work together, build, excuse me, get a product out, then ultimately present a huge, semester-long project to a group of, executives who are former alumni. That kind of experience was something I had, never had in high school or any other previous experience with, and it really kind of, set the bar for what a real life business environment would be like. And then even towards the end of our management business program, we do almost the exact same thing again, but able to use all of the tools and resources and knowledge that we've built over the full 4 years and to present a new project on a new company to a very similar set of alumni who are very accomplished in their own right, and being able to see that growth and really kind of understand what it'll be like in the real world to have a boss or a manager who's expecting XYZ from you and having to put together a presentation, do a lot of work, and really deliver a positive result was super helpful. It was a great learning experience, and you make a lot of great friends and relationships from working closely with your fellow classmates for years and years.
Yeah, and I can say for myself too, again, not even having been involved really in the business department, just having taken that intro class, I truly learned so many skills just from MB 107. Presentation skills, how to work with the same group of people for a long period of time, because it's like a semester long project that you're working on. So that class I think is just so, so valuable for every single student, and I highly recommend it to every single student, again, even if they're not thinking of pursuing business. So that's a great point. And Catherine, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think for me, being at Skidmore, what really solidified a lot of connections and just made my experience there so great was also just the student faculty relationship and just the professors you meet at Skidmore. They're all so wonderful. I've only had positive experiences and I've made so many good connections from my professors, just knowing them as people outside
Mhm.
of the classroom. It's been really wonderful. And they really do care about all aspects of your life and want you to succeed both at Skidmore and outside. And that's how I really found that I've made all these connections and meeting new connections through those relationships I made with my professors.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, we have the Career Development Center, which is such an awesome resource because, they help both our current students and alums find those internship and job opportunities, whether it be in Saratoga Springs, where we're located, or if you want to do something in a totally different location, or if you want to do like an internship back at home during the summer months, they'll help you find those different community connections and alumni connections, which is awesome. But Catherine, I like what you were saying. Your professors are just such an awesome resource as well, even outside of the Career Development Center. I would always go to my professors during office hours and just be like, hey, like, have you heard of any internship opportunities coming up? And I know, like, for at least my departments, faculty would always be like sending email blasts to like the like major list of current like research or internship opportunities that students can apply for too. So definitely not only taking advantage of the career services that we have at Skidmore, but also making those connections too. I think with faculty and alums and just current students is so, so valuable as well. So thank you all for that. So you're all doing really amazing things, very impressive things that might be a bit intimidating, maybe to some of the students that are on this call. So I want you to imagine your 17-year-old self doing the college search, dreaming up the future. What kind of advice would you give your former self to get you where you are today?
The first thing that comes to mind, honestly, if I was talking to my 17-year-old self, I would have more of a plan on what I wanted to do. Like, I think I very much so went into college thinking I was going to be an education major. I took one course as an education major, and then I was like, I don't want to be a teacher. This is not actually what I want. And then I took my business course and I was like, okay, I'll be a business major. But I had no visualization of what I wanted to do after college, which I think is fine. You know, it can take a while. You're 17, 18 years old. You're not supposed to know what you're going to be doing when you're 30. But I think, you know, try to visualize yourself and what you want for your life. Like, what is your day to day going to look like? And then talk to people that are doing the thing that you want to do. Like, I think that is the most helpful thing you can do when you're about to go to college is talk to people that are 1, 2, 3 years out of college and talk to them on how they got there, like
Yeah,
what they did throughout college, what they majored in, what they interned or where they interned and get that insight. So that'd be my advice to former me.
totally. That's awesome. Ari or Catherine? Yeah, Catherine.
Maybe a little bit of opposite advice, but I feel like for me, 17 or 18, when I was looking for colleges, I originally wanted to go the conservatory route and do
Mm,
music and acting. And I halfway through, I decided that's not actually what I wanted to do. Um, I mean, it's great to have a plan, and then but I think I had too much of a plan, and then it all of a sudden it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to have the option to do other things. Um, so I think having that flexibility too is important, and why a big reason I applied to Skidmore is because it's had such strong arts programs, but also strong everything else. So I think it's just important to weigh those options and kind of you don't need to know what you're looking for like right away. That's not realistic, but maybe just have some thoughts in mind just in case you change your mind or you want to do something else you think that's a possibility for you because it really was a game changer for me.
yeah, totally. And Ari, yeah.
Yeah, so my advice is actually very similar to that. I think just having, even though I knew going into college that I was looking for something with a strong like business type program, I didn't really expand and like look at, what are the other things if business doesn't work out or if I'm interested in something else. I never really thought about, what other opportunities could there be, out of school I might be looking at. And so I think, yeah, just having a place that's really well-rounded, has a lot of options, no matter what you're looking to do, is really helpful. It's a good kind of hedge on yourself because, people learn, maybe you take a class, first semester freshman year, like, wow, this is incredible. I had no idea this is something I would be interested in. And you're like, can I do this here? Yeah, absolutely. So then just being able to, have an idea of something you're looking for, but, be able to, stay flexible, look around and, always be open to, trying, new experiences, new classes, new clubs, anything that might come up and see kind of what piques your interest.
Yeah, I think that's some really great advice. And Novi, it's so good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for being here. Do you want to do a quick introduction, just saying your name, class year, and your current role?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Novi. I am currently based out of Pennsylvania. I graduated from Skidmore in 2022. I was a management and business major. and I currently work for SAP. It's an enterprise resource planning software development company, and I work there as their business process consultant. Thank
Amazing.
you.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for being here. Wonderful. So, a couple more questions for you guys. I am kind of curious if any of you wanted to talk about any internship experiences that you might have had during your time at Skidmore, and if so, how you kind of were able to lock down those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. I can start. So I had a junior internship at Goldman Sachs in their Salt Lake City office, actually, which is very far from Skidmore. But I think one of the key things that was helpful with Skidmore is that like all of my professors were super understanding about the interview process. There was one time when we were coming up on a midterm exam, but I happened to have an interview scheduled in person in New York the same day as the midterm. I talked to my professors. They totally understood. They understand, how important it is to, try and get these internships. And even if you don't get an internship, just the interview process as a whole, getting that experience is super helpful. So my professor, he was very understanding, helped move around, let me take the midterm at a better time that worked for both of us. And overall was just super supportive. But in terms of like the internship itself, I think I felt very well prepared for kind of the team experience that would happen. It's, very similar to, coming into your freshman year of college. You're in a new location with people you don't know who are all in the same boat as you. You have a lot to learn, a lot to figure out. And just having that experience, both in MB 107 and in all of the classes, no matter the discipline, was really beneficial to me. And I felt like I was really, well prepared and able to kind of get off on a strong foot.
That's awesome. Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
Sure. I had a variety of internship experiences. So my sophomore year, I interned at Ernst& Young, EY, and that was through Colleen Burke, a business professor. I was having a chat with her, and she asked me what I wanted to do as a sophomore then, very clueless, because I think the path that I saw from people who I was close to was finance. And so that's what I thought I wanted to do. And so Colleen Berg said, okay, well, maybe let's try consulting and just see how it works out. She shared my resume with a lady. Her name is Amy Monicello. She recruits from Skidmore. And I interviewed and I got the internship for my sophomore year. So it was more like an entry level type of internship where a rotational internship where you just learn different facets of the business. And during that, I also was just connecting. One thing I did was just connecting with as many alumni as I could. And in that process, I got to learn about different companies. And one company that I not really was interested in, but that the recruiter had reached, and I was utilizing LinkedIn a lot in my Skidmore time. And so a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn, introduced me to an internship program at BlackRock. And I applied and I got into their scholarship program as well. So it was a great summer at BlackRock, just learning more about asset management. It didn't turn out really as I expected. It was quite a tough environment to be in. And so yeah, and then that fall I said, okay, I've tried some big companies, let me try smaller companies. So I interned for the Android Trust company, the bank downtown. Just that was also great. But all in all, I think the Career Development Center really helped groom me during this entire interviewing process. Same with speaking to professors. I would never have known about EY if I didn't sit down for a chat with Colleen Berg. And that sort of was the biggest door opener for me that led me to starting my full-time role at Goldman Sachs to in New York City. So yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and I think I like what you touched on, Novi, just making those alumni connections is so, so huge. Both in person and virtually. The Career Development Center on campus, they do a great job with hosting like in-person events. We have the Career Jam, which happens every fall. It's actually happening this upcoming Friday. So we'll bring alums and parents of current Skidmore students to campus, and that can be a great way to connect in person. But we also have Handshake, which is another awesome resource. And that's kind of a virtual platform that our students are able to use to connect with our alumni in a virtual space. So yeah, that's so awesome. Catherine, Caroline, did you want to share?
I can jump in. So when it
Yeah.
came to internships, I worked most of the summers until I graduated from Skidmore as a sailing coach. And then my senior year, I interned at Opera Saratoga. So a big part of my time at Skidmore, I was studying opera. So I was a music minor, and Evan Mack, who I'm still in connected to today, introduced me to the contact at Opera Saratoga, and I was a marketing and admin intern for them for that semester. And I thought that was a really great opportunity to be able to do that while I was also in school, while also having able to keep my summers open to be able to work during that time.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Catherine, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, for me, I did an internship my senior year with a political consulting firm, and I did it virtually actually because I was in school
Mm.
during COVID. So it was really great that I had that option, because I didn't think like with everything going on, especially junior and senior year for me, a lot was not possible, but it was still really cool that I still had the opportunity. And I actually found that since I was a poli sci major, I found it through the internship through another poli sci major. So it was a really great way to connect with some other classmates and also kind of go through the same experiences. And yeah, it's just a great resource, just using the people around you and your peers and what they're doing, because it ended up being a really great internship and something I didn't even think I would get to do at that time. So
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Great, thank you all so much. And I guess I'll just ask one more question to the four of you. And I know, Caroline, you kind of just touched on this. Are there any other faculty, professors that any of you have still kind of kept in touch with since graduating?
Yeah, so I call myself an honorary arts admin minor because I just took so many arts administration classes. I never really declared it as a minor. But I am still in touch with Professor David Howson, Professor David, and I come to Saratoga actually once every year. And every time I come, I make sure that I sit down for lunch or whatever, just connect with them. And it's just great, staying in touch with your professors. It can be hard sometimes, but I think those are the two professors I'm connected to till now.
That's so awesome. Great. Anyone else?
yeah, I can jump in. Yeah, I'm still in contact with a few of my professors. A lot of them in the theater department, Tisha Duncan, and then Lisa Jackson Shibata and Dennis Shibata. Those were just big. I've done shows with them, so we kind of spent a lot of our lives together during that 4 year period. But yeah, I'm still in contact with them, which is great. And not I'm still doing theater stuff, but not professionally. But it's still nice to have that contact, just as
Totally.
people, just going back to all the things I did in college and how special and important that program was to me. It's lovely to still have those contacts, and I'm still in contact with my advisor as well, Kate Graney. So that's been great too. They're all wonderful, wonderful people there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Caroline, I think I saw you come off mute.
Oh yeah, I would say the person that I'm still in contact with is Evan Mack, because
Yeah.
he was my music professor. I used to edit his compositions at school, and he was basically friends with the producer of the show that was just happening in New York City, and we went and saw the show with a couple of other Skidmore professors as well. So that was really cool. And I'm also still connected to everyone from lacrosse as well. So I'm very close with my coach. I'm gonna be up there this weekend actually. So
Hey,
yeah.
got my admissions.
For the alumni game, maybe I'll get out in the field. You don't know,
So
maybe.
fun. Awesome. Yeah, and Ari, did you want to add anything as well?
Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely keep in touch with one of my professors, Peter von Allman, who was chair of the econ department at the time. He happened to be my first year freshman seminar professor. This was the econ professor as well. It was a very natural fit for him to become my advisor. And I don't get back up to Saratoga enough. But yeah, it's next time I go up and definitely meet up with him again and keep in contact as well via email. So it's a lot of great relationships that started at Skidmore.
Yeah, and I think that's so special and really kind of goes to show how strong the student-faculty relationships are at Skidmore. I mean, all four of you still keep in touch with faculty and are at least a few years removed. So I think that really kind of goes to show how special those relationships are and continue to be. So that's amazing. Okay. I think those are all of my questions. So at this time, everyone, we're going to move to a Q&A portion of our event this evening. For all of my prospective students on the Zoom, please feel free to submit any questions that you have to our panelists using the chat feature in Zoom, which is available at the bottom of your screen. And as those come in, I'll start relaying those questions back to you guys. And I do just want to make a quick note that given that this event is a chance for all of you to engage with our alums regarding their experiences, we do ask that you refrain from asking questions regarding the admissions process. Instead, ask questions about their time here at Skidmore and how that has impacted them since graduation. So just something to keep in mind. But at this time, go ahead and start sending in those questions, everyone.